Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer Ann Reed and I am the author of Frost Legacy, The Inheritance, and Frost Legacy Crossroads. Today my video is a little different. Last week I said that I would show you guys my series binder, or what some other authors call their series Bible. But this is my notebook and I am going to go through and show you how I keep all of my story ideas organized. I've seen a couple other authors show their books, and I watched some of them, and my stuff was similar. So I decided I'd show you guys too. But whenever I do this, it's going to be blank because I didn't want to give anything in my story away, and I wanted you to see it for what it was before I start. But this is just a little bit about what I do, and I give writing tips. If you guys have any ideas of things that you would like to see me do on this channel, just leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like and hit that little notification bell. So let's get started. As you can see in my series notebook index, I start off with the writing timeline, and that I'm going to zoom in for you guys for just a minute. But that is going to include the book series title, a calendar, and some deadlines or some goals for me to follow. The next section is going to be my plots and subplots, then world building, characters. I do a character index glossary and a marketing plan in my notebook, because I have not done the best with marketing, but I thought that this little section here would help me out a lot to stay on track with what I am doing. So let's go ahead and get started and hit that writing timeline. Well, one of the things that I have been doing, I'm going to zoom out for you, so hang on just a minute. Okay. Alright, so I do a book title. I do the number of the series that I have. So my next book is going to be number 3. And I come up with the reasons that I chose the name that I'll put up here. And then I will have optional title ideas and the reasons in behind those. But this here, and I'm going to turn this for you a little bit. This is just a calendar that I use. I printed this off of calendarlabs.com. It's just a blank 2019. And what I like to do with these is write in days that I am going to be writing and give myself a calendar format so I am staying on track. And if I know that I've missed something, I can see how many words that I missed writing that day. And I like to fill that in and see how many words that I've written. But I did this for all of the 2019 year. So I'm going to flip through my calendar. I've got 6 little pages here. And it goes through December, as you can see over here. But all of that is blank. I haven't filled anything in yet. I have been pretty sick so far. But this January, it's been a little rough. As you can tell, I'm a little congested. But this next page is not mine. This one I got from another author, and I'm going to zoom in down here so you can see that it is heartbreathings.com. And one of the things that the author did was she did a writing plan, and I thought this was really good. I watched her video when I was doing some research on these actual story binders. I know that I'd flipped through my old one and it wasn't as put together before, and I wanted to show you this new section that I had and all the stuff that I have in it. But as you can see from heartbreathings.com, once you subscribe to the newsletter there, you can get this as a free template. But it gives you just a start date and all of these dates to have stuff completed by. So you are basically giving yourself a deadline and then your target release date. This will help you stay on track. And it's going to be here where in this column where you can do a goal and then you can compare it to what you actually do. And finally, she had down here a review. So you are giving yourself as an author a review on how you felt while writing your book, and if you feel like you did everything in a timely manner, and what you're going to change whenever you do the next book. So, let me zoom back out for just a minute. Zoom out again. Okay. So next we are going to plots and subplots. The first thing that I do is brainstorm. And I left this completely blank. Gotta learn how to talk there. But I left this completely blank so you guys can write all over it. I'm not the type of person that likes to type out all of their stuff. Everything I do for my novels starts off as handwritten. And I kept a ton of notebooks. It's like I bought a notebook for each of my novels, and then I would never put down everything in it that I needed to put in it, and I would have to go back and read through my novel to see what I was missing. But this is where I like to do my brainstorming. On this page here, I do all of my research. I will put down the genre of the book that I'm writing, and if it's similar to any other book, I will also put down some mythology that I'm going to be looking at for the novel, possible settings if I'm not completely decided yet. I also look at important terms that may be needed in the story. For example, if I'm going to have anything Latin in there, I will put this stuff here and I'll research all the history in behind the word. And then just some inspiration. If I wanted to like put a motto or something here, that's what I would do for my book. So for my third book, I am going to be researching a lot about fairy and just all of the fairies and all the mythology in behind those. But I'm going to pull this down a little bit. For my plots and subplots, I always start off with motivation. What is going to be motivating my main character? And the initial incident that I want them to work up to. What will be the actual climax of the story? If there are any subplots and how they are going to tie in with the main story. The resolution of all of the conflicts. All of my questions I need to answer, and any important themes and symbols that I would like to see carried on in my plots. So right now in the Frost Legacy series, there is this thing called the Order, where species are not allowed, they're forbidden, and actually it's against the law for them to intermingle in a romantic relationship. So they can't have a romantic relationship outside of their species. So my character, she is trying to fight that, and that's one of the important themes in my Frost Legacy series. This here is not mine. This is Derek Murphy's from Creative Indie, and that's got this down here. And I will put the link for this and the heartbreathings.com in the comment in the description box down below. I'll put this in there so you guys will know where I got this. Derek Murphy's Creative Indie site. He does a lot of blogs on just writing, the writing process. And I get a lot of my ideas and things whenever I'm trying to come up with a new way to do something from that blog. But this is just a novel outline. I will use this as just a tool for me to write my own outline. And I try to follow this, and it tells you everything that you're trying to get in to Act 1 and then Act 2. And it takes you all the way down to your first pinch point, or your first battle, and then down to your midpoint where your victim becomes the warrior. And then if you take this over here to this side, it will take you all the way to Act 3 and down to the very, very end. So this is just one of those outlines that people can follow. You don't necessarily have to follow this step by step, and you can add your own things in or take things out. The next thing that I have this divided into is world building. World building for me I have left this blank. My world building, I have put stuff together online, more like a little collage. I've done like some castles and things, but I also have an inspirational collage over here. So these two things, they can go hand in hand for me. Um, if you are going to be making a map, I've got to work on the map for Fairy that I'm doing, but I will eventually get that drawn and have it in this section here. Excuse me. I also do like an overall world information sheet, and it'll have the world name, any divisions or kingdoms, the names and the purpose of those kingdoms, the location, and the history of that world. On the back side, this is what I do. I'll do one for the overall world. This is actually a couple pages long, but I'll do this, and let me zoom in for you. Sorry, guys. But this I will look at. I'll describe what the kingdom, what the land looks like during the day. I'll also describe the nighttime sky and any of the plant life and the landscape and water source. I should have taken that out. That was actually 2 parts earlier. But then after I describe just the landscape, I will do the culture, and I'll go over the people, their government, their jobs. I will also look at whether this land is going to be magical or not. And since I'm going to be in Fairy, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of magic, so I've got all of this filled out on what they are doing, any of their religious practices, education and military, and then relationships on how they react with one another. And that goes on back here. So what is dishonorable, how to show honor, and how they treat the fit people versus feeble or vulnerable. I was thinking like elderly and children on that one. So then my characters. What I do for my characters, I have this character profile, or what I sometimes call my character arc. I did one where I filled one out on paper. I did a video on that. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. I filled one out on just some colored paper. But these are the things that I'm looking for when I look at features. I also make sure I know where they're living, whether they're living with parents or on their own, what type of job they have, their relationship status, their favorites and dislikes, all of their family and friends, whether or not that character is going to have children, their religious beliefs, personality, and their health. Also back here on the back are going to be strong memories, skills and abilities, just some background on the character, what their history and stuff is like, what any type of training they would have, their goals, and then the character type, whether they are a main character or supporting, and what type of development I'm going to be looking at doing with that character. And I know you saw the pictures just a minute ago. This, I like for my characters, I like to have pictures to use as a basis for certain characters. And I will spend hours looking at just different characters for, I'm going to zoom out here. But I will look at different characters here and search all of these celebrities for characters in my story. So if you have read the Frost Legacy series, let me zoom out again. These are some of the inspirations in behind all of those characters. So, this is something that I've thought about sharing on my website, maybe, to let people see everyone that I've looked at, but I like to keep this with me. So I know everyone that I'm going over here and having them in my book. So, and then I will also do a character index and a glossary. And this is just a quick reference, so if I don't need to know everything from the character art, I can put the character names here and write a short description of what they like, what they smell like, what they look like, things like that. Since I'm also dealing with direwolves, and on this side, if I'm using like any of those Latin terms again, I will, if I just need a quick reference, I'll just put them here and give a short definition. And then finally, this marketing plan. The marketing plan that I use, and I know that a lot of people will put this in towards the front of the book, like with the plotting, but I like to put it in marketing because if you are self-publishing and you are trying to get your books in a bookstore, you have to do a media packet, and this type of stuff has to be in your media packet. So this, you do your pitch, your blurb, and your synopsis. So I'll write those down, and if you want it to look better, you could type it, but I like to write everything like I've said. I also look at my cover plans. So let me zoom in on this for you. But I look at the background ideas. Some covers, a lot of them are really pretty. Mine have a lot of forest backgrounds, so that would be like a background idea that I would use here. The characters and creatures that are going to be included on the cover, and what way you would want them turned, or if you're going to have them facing the camera. I know a lot of people, they will have their characters to the side or their backs facing the camera like mine. What type of nature elements you're going to have. Or it doesn't even have to be nature elements. It could be like if you have magic in your book, you could have something glowing. Any other important elements or symbols? I am so sorry, guys. I've been coughing like that all week. But a tagline also on the front of your cover. I did not do this with my covers yet, but I was told recently that if you have a tagline, they always can tell self-published authors from traditionally published, because self-published authors, we don't include the tagline. So that is something I'm going to start including on mine. You also can choose the font and whether you're going to make it. That's why I put homemade. I'm not really good at making any covers, so I use a company. Excuse me. I don't know how I think it's Fiverr, I think it's Fiverr that I use. But I use Olivia Pro Designs to do all my covers on that company. I can also link that down below. Then I like to keep a list of all my beta readers, the people who read it before my final edit, and then ARC reviews. These ARC reviews or early reviews, these are really good if you can get those out to people. I haven't done that here in the past, but I'm going to try to start getting ARC reviewers to read the book and review it before it's going to be released and have that review up. I also mark my target audience, my audience online hangouts. This is very important because it goes along with your social media strategy and online ads. You need to know where your audience is hanging out. So, for example, younger kids now are doing a lot with Snapchat. Some things are not as popular as they used to be, so you need to decide whether you're going to be on Twitter, you're going to be on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, things like that. And the online ads, Facebook ads, you need to look to see if Facebook ads or YouTube or Instagram or things like that are going to convert over into clicks on your book. And then finally, over here, my website and newsletter growth. So I like to come up with different ways to make my website attractive. And I have done a complete overhaul. And I'm getting ready to start using something I think MailChimp to come up with a newsletter and start sending that out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video.